For the second consecutive postseason, Mad Max, he got lit up like elevator buttons in an Elf movie. He was in fact not locked in. Should Max consider hanging up, or was it just bad timing and him trying to rush back to overcome injury and help out his team? Also, we're going to talk about the Gold Glove nominations because for the first time in a decade, Nolan Arenado was not nominated to win a Gold Glove. The whole defensive stats conversation is the most frustrating conversation in baseball, in my opinion. Like, DRS is great for one position, but it's not great for another, so we're going to try and break it down later on in the video. All of that in today's MLB Recap, and just a reminder, Recap is presented by SeatGeek. Use code Fuzzy to save 20 bucks off. And also right now in Underdog Fantasy, they are running a promotion. If you use code Fuzzy, they will match your first deposit up to $500, so it's essentially free money. All right, here we go. The Astros at the Rangers, so they don't have to drive too far. They're still in Texas. Yordan Alvarez, he got hit by a pitch, and later on, he scored after another errant slider from Max Scherzer. He's just not quite the same pitcher in the postseason. Martin Maldonado, it feels like he's had 18 opportunities with the bases loaded in this playoffs, and he finally clutched up. He made contact for once. That's a 2-run single. And Jose Altuve, he pummeled a home run in the very next inning. Altuve, he is 5 home runs away from passing Manny Ramirez for the most home runs in the history of the playoffs. Mauricio Dubon, he singled in another. All of that was for Christian Javier, who had a no-hitter through 4 innings. Unlike Max Scherzer, it seems like Javier, he gets better and better when it matters the most. Now, the Rangers eventually got to Christian Javier. Well, I guess Josh Young got to him. That's his second home run of the playoffs. But Yordan, he got one of those right back. No, he didn't. Leody Taveras, he has been a superstar in these playoffs. He timed it perfectly. He robs Yordan. He's hitting .320, and he has 7 walks to 4 strikeouts with a couple home runs. He's been really, really good. The only problem is you can't rob that one. Yordan, he's going to hurt you with singles, walks, home runs, whatever you need, he's going to get it done. He's hitting .497 with 6 home runs and 10 RBIs in 7 games in these 2023 playoffs. Josh Young, he's having a great postseason as well. He had another 2-run home run, his second of the game. Both teams, the Astros and the Rangers, they traded some RBI singles. It was nice to see Jeremy Pena finally contribute with the bat, and ultimately, Houston, they bounced back in a big way. They embarrassed the Rangers in front of their own crowd, and now we got to talk about Max Scherzer just a little bit more. Look at this graphic right here from Yankee World on Twitter. Again, I'm not going to call it X because that's weird. Max Scherzer has a near 6 ERA in the postseason since 2021. He hasn't won a playoff game in nearly 4 years. So guys like Clayton Kershaw, Justin Verlander, Max Scherzer, they have all been regular season GOATs. They are some of the greatest pitchers that we've ever seen. But when it comes to the playoffs, they regress a ton. I think that Kershaw is the biggest example of that. Scherzer and Verlander, they have moments of greatness, and then they have moments of full-blown implosions. So Verlander, he's been better as of late, whereas Scherzer, I'm not saying he's washed up, but he did not look like himself this year. Maybe that's because of the injuries that are mounting. He is almost 40 years old, but I don't know. What do we make of Max Scherzer, Clayton Kershaw, and Justin Verlander? Are they still in the GOAT conversations, or because of their playoff regressions, do we have to kind of take them out of that? Like, are we going to go with Sandy Koufax? Now, for context, I did not look at the playoff stats of Sandy Koufax or Bob Gibson or Pedro Martinez and guys like that, but who is the GOAT pitcher? And I'm talking about regular season and playoffs, because on paper, you can make an argument that Kershaw is the most dominant regular season pitcher of all time, but in the playoffs, we know what happens. We don't have to talk about that. Whereas someone like Verlander, he's amazing in the regular season. He's so in the playoffs. So who's the GOAT pitcher with everything included? Now, because we just talked about the Rangers and the Astros, let's talk about their matchup later on today. So they're going to be playing, I think, at 5 o'clock later tonight. We have Jose Urquidy versus Andrew Heaney, 2 superstars in the game of baseball. Obviously, I'm being facetious. But Jose Urquidy against the current Rangers roster, he's been good. He's holding them to a .218 batting average, but they hit him very hard, almost a 91 average exit velocity. Andrew Heaney, on the other hand, he's allowing the current Astros roster to hit .272. So on paper, again, on paper almost means nothing in the playoffs, but according to the matchups, the Astros have the slight advantage, and Jose Urquidy, he's a dog in the playoffs. He's pretty good when it matters the most as well. In terms of the Phillies and the Diamondbacks game, you're probably watching this as you're watching this video. You have Ranger Suarez, who has been a postseason GOAT, versus Brandon Pfaadt. It is not Fat, say it right, it is Brandon Pfaadt. He's going to fight for his life today. They're probably going to go with a bullpen game. He's going to go 3 or 4 innings, and then they're going to bring in some other guys, whereas Ranger Suarez, he's going to try and eat 5 innings at the most, because usually they don't allow him to go 6 or 7 innings. So 5 shutty from Ranger, you could probably book it. Let me go ahead and knock on wood. I will not be blamed for jinxing Ranger Suarez. All right, let's talk about the Gold Glove finalists in the game of baseball. So at first base, we have Nathaniel Lowe, Ryan Mountcastle. He has come a long way, and Anthony Rizzo. I think that Rizzo is probably going to win that. Second base, we have Mauricio Dubon, Andres Jimenez, and Marcus Semien. Third base, Alex Bregman, Matt Chapman, and Jose Ramirez. There is a massive snub. The fact that Maikel Garcia of the Royals did not make it over. I love Jose Ramirez. I am a fanboy of J-Ram. I'm a Guardians fan. Maikel Garcia was better than Jose Ramirez. Shortstop, we have Carlos Correa, Corey Seager, and Anthony Volpe. Volpe should win that pretty easy. Left field, we have Austin Hayes, Steven Kwan, and Dalton Varsho. Kiermaier's probably going to win another one because he's that good, but man, J-Rod had an insane season. Same with Luis Robert Jr. In right field, we have Adolis Garcia, Kyle Tucker, Alex Verdugo, and at catcher, we have Jonah Heim, Alejandro Kirk, Ali Rutschman. I don't think anyone really cares about pitcher Gold Gloves, not gonna lie. Now, before we talk about the NL, utility, we have Mauricio Dubon, Zach McKinstry, and Taylor Walls. Okay, now again, one name you will not see on this list is Wander Franco. He probably would have been on the shortstop. He probably would have won actually, but I mean, he's not even in baseball anymore, and he might never play again. So that's the update on Wander Franco. No one has an update. In the NL, we have Freddie Freeman, Carlos Santana, and Christian Walker at first base. Second base, Nico Horner, Ha-Seong Kim, and my friend Bryson Stott. I think that Bryson Stott actually has the advantage in terms of outs above average. So we'll talk about the defensive stats in just a moment. Ke'Bryan Hayes, he is going to be the winner at third base. I don't even have to talk about the other guys. Although Ryan McMahon, he's a vacuum. Austin Riley, he's an absolute stud. Ke'Bryan Hayes was the best defender in baseball this year. Nolan Arenado, for the first time in 10 seasons, as you can see, he's an 8-time All-Star. He's won 10 Gold Gloves, 6 Platinum Gloves. If we take a look at all of his stats, again, when he was a rookie in 2013, he won a Gold Glove all the way up until last year, 2022. 10 consecutive seasons of dominance at the hot corner. And a lot of people were saying that Ke'Bryan Hayes, he was robbed last year. So this is the year that Ke'Bryan Hayes gets his first Gold Glove. Shortstop, we have Lindor, of course, Dansby Swanson, Tovar. I think that Dansby's going to take it home. Left field, we have Ian Happ again in the conversation. David Peralta, Eddie Rosario. I was surprised that Eddie Rosario made it over Christian Yelich. I thought that Yelich was going to be the guy. In center field, we have Brenton Doyle, who in my opinion is probably going to take it home. But we also have studs like Michael Harris, Alec Thomas. Right field, Tatis is probably going to win, in my opinion, because Mookie Betts, he played all over the place. So for strictly right fielders, I think that Nando has the advantage. Catchers, Patrick Bailey, he has to win, in my opinion. We'll talk about why in just a second. And then for pitchers, you have Luzardo, Walker, Wheeler. So 2 Phillies on that list. And then also for utility, you have Mookie Betts, Tommy Edman, and Ha-Seong Kim. I haven't done my proper research, so I don't know who's going to win it between these 3 guys. But if you want to read who has the better stats, there you go. So we talked about Maikel Garcia getting snubbed. Another Royal that was snubbed, in my opinion, Bobby Witt Jr. So if you take a look, do you see right here, fielding, run, value? Bobby Witt Jr. was top 6% in that stat. So that stat takes into account range and arm. If you take a look at a stat called DRS, defensive run saves, that does not take into account arm strength for infielders. So if we take a look at 2022, Bobby Witt Jr. was terrible defensively. Fast forward to 2023, one of the biggest improvements I've ever seen from a defender. He went from being a bottom feeder to being one of the best 6% of players in the game of baseball. He was absolutely robbed. So if you guys are trying to make an argument for the best defenders in baseball, go to a website called Baseball Savant, type in fielding, run, value, leaderboards. And you can see that Brenton Doyle, according to that statistic, he was the most valuable defender. Then you have Patrick Bailey, Dansby Swanson, Austin Hedges. The reason why he still has a job in the game of baseball is because he is a wizard behind the dish. He is really good at blocking and framing pitches. Same with Jonah Heim, same with Sean Murphy. But if you want to see the best defenders in baseball because of arm and range, fielding run value is going to be your best bet. So because of that, I mean, you can see the clear winners. We have Brenton Doyle, Patrick Bailey. I think that Andres Jimenez is going to win another one. Bryson Stott is leading all of second basemen. So there you go. But before we do today's Immaculate Grid, if you have any other snubs, a lot of people were saying Nick Castellanos because he didn't make any errors. But can I just say, even if you don't make errors, that doesn't technically mean you're a great defender. And I know that might sound blasphemous, but Nick Castellanos, he plays a safe right field. He doesn't have the best range, the best arm, the best speed. He's a solid outfielder, but he's not a Gold Glover. I'm sorry. Ooh, this is a different Immaculate Grid. We have a new category, 200 wins. This is brand new. Okay, so let's try and get that one done. 200 career wins that played on the Braves. I'm going to go with Greg Maddux, a fellow Vegas boy, 36%. 200 wins for the Dodgers. I don't think that Oral Hershiser. I'm going to go with this guy right here. I'm afraid to say his first name out loud because of YouTube and their demonetization policies. Anyways, 200 wins, played for the Phillies. I'm going to go with the Doc. Almost positive Roy had like almost 300 wins, I think. 200 strikeout season for the Braves. Did Max Fried get... Oh, no, I'm going to go Spencer Strider. Just going to go for some easy picks right here. Spencer, strikeout, Strider. 200 strikeouts for the Dodgers. I mean, you got Kershaw. I feel like Chad Billingsley or Ross Stripling had, or at least got close to 200 back in the day, or maybe I'm mistaken. Kershaw's an easy one. I feel like Bueller had 200 strikeouts. I'm going to go with Fernando Valenzuela. Where is he at? Fernando Valenzuela. I'm pretty sure he did have 200 strikeouts. Cliff Lee, did he have 200 strikeouts for the Phillies? He did. Okay, one of my favorite pitchers of all time. 200 hits for the Phillies. I could go with Rollins. I'm going to go Rollins. Actually, what about this? I'm going to shock you guys. Richie Ashburn. 8%. Look at me. That's an old name. 200 base hits for the Dodgers. I feel like Adrian Gonzalez maybe did that, or did Mookie Betts do that this year, or Freddie Freeman? I'm going to go Freddie Freeman because I feel like Frederick, he did that this year, 38%. And then 200 base hits for the Braves. I could go Hank Aaron. I could go, I don't know did Ronald have 200 this year? I feel like he might have gotten close, but I can't remember if he did pass that 200 threshold back in the, okay, so we have Hank Aaron. What about some other, Sean Murphy? Not Sean Murphy, Dale Murphy, did he have 200 hits back in the day? Maybe Nick Markakis had a 200 base hit season. Why is this tough for me? I'm going to go Chipper Jones. Actually, I feel like Chipper Jones had 199 base hits. I knew it. Let me check that real quick. Chipper Jones had 189. That was his most in a season. So yeah, I got that one wrong. Well, that does it for today's recap. I hope that you guys enjoyed. If you did, do me a favor, leave a like, subscribe if you're brand new, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.